Welcome to episode 172 of Auto Off Topic. Hello, Brad. How are you?
I am excellent, Andrew. How are you tonight?
I'm great.
Excellent.
So, I did some cool stuff because I guess we'll get right into that.
I didn't do any cool stuff.
Were you able to go to Cars and Coffee at all? Or
No, it wound up being a pretty. Actually, it was the first rain out of events here since I've lived here. So we actually had a rainy weekend here.
Yeah. So, speaking of rainy weekends, I went to LA over the weekend. It's always sunny in LA.
I hear that's Philadelphia.
Yeah. It's a funny story. That show was supposed to be It's Always Sunny in LA, but they decided that Philadelphia would be funnier.
They were right.
Yeah.
It has more. I don't know. Maybe it's because we're from Boston, so we connect more with it
Right.
being in Philadelphia. Because Philadelphia is just Boston West, pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah, so I ended up in LA over the weekend. There for a wedding, a very rainy wedding, but it's good luck if it rains on your wedding. That was up. The wedding actually was up in Malibu, near Thousand Oaks.
How far is that from LA?
It's just north of LA. It's in LA County, but LA has such massive, massive urban sprawl that since there was also Radwood LA was the same weekend, I was like, oh, let me go to that. As the crow flies, when you look at it on Google Maps, you're like, oh, it's only 70 miles, which is still a lot, but you're like, at least, that's like manageable.
Well, crows don't have to deal with LA traffic.
Yes, legendary LA traffic. So, but actually, when you do the GPS directions, it works out to like 90 miles, which is kind of crazy that it adds like 20 miles.
Well, there's not many straight roads in that area, so.
I mean, a lot of the major highways are kind of straight.
But you're also dealing with coastline too, probably, correct?
Oh no, you can take you could cut right across the 101 to the 405, and then it was kind of a straight shot. Well, I'm getting a little ahead in the story. So the wedding was up in Malibu, and we were staying in Thousand Oaks, and actually the venue was right off of Mulholland. We got in Thursday night. Friday, Stephanie was in the wedding, so she had a bunch of stuff to do. I had nothing to do Friday, so I was like, well, I'm going to take this rental car and I'm going to go explore some canyons because it was actually not rainy in the morning. It was pretty nice Friday morning. So I head out from our hotel. It was kind of cool because you could cut up. I could catch the top of Mulholland, and then I actually ended up, without realizing it, I drove by the venue.
For the wedding?
Oh. Yeah. It was at the Comingus Guest Ranch. I drove up. It's like Keenan Road off of the 101, and then it picked up. I got on Mulholland. I remember seeing on the news that part of Mulholland was closed, and I was like, I don't know what part that means. Like, it's between this road and this road, and I don't know what that means, but I'll keep an eye out for. So I was like, oh, there's Mulholland. Like, it was right off this Keenan Road. I was like, I'll grab that. And sure enough, I went past I think it's like the Stone Cafe or something, or the Stone Gift Shop. I've seen pictures of cars there on Instagram and people stopping on Mulholland. Like, there was a bunch of motorcycles there, and that's right where the road was closed. So it must have mudslided out because it had been raining a few days earlier. So
Okay.
I popped back out on the main road and followed that because my plan was to go up and over and drop down a PCH and then just drive into LA and hit up Amoeba Music. So I go up, and it wanted me to go this other way. And I was like, no, there's a sign for Mulholland. It keeps going that way. So I took Mulholland over, and it like wound around the edge of the canyon. I mean, it's a crazy road. And then at a certain point, it split and became California 23, which was a crazy nice road. And the other crazy thing too is you could see where all the fires were, and like
The landscape totally different.
yeah,
There.
and it's wild because certain parts are completely burned, and other parts are not. Some houses are completely burned out. Other houses look like they're untouched. They're building new houses up there, and I had the windows down. You could smell the the burned like wood, and you're also getting like the eucalyptus smell from the trees that are not burned. So it's kind of crazy. But yeah, Cal 23 is awesome. It like wicked switchback, really tight. I had a the ultimate performance car, a Chevy Malibu,
Sweet.
which those cars got giant. Like Malibu used to be smaller, and now it was like Impala size.
It's very similar. It's just the model bloat is very similar to every other vehicle on the market. They wind up making smaller cars because their small cars get big.
Yeah, um, not a bad looking car. You kind of sit down in it.
Also, not a good
It's
looking
a
car.
generic sedan, right?
It's very generic
And it's
sedan.
the new style generic sedan. A lot of sedans have this style where the rear window is really sloped backwards.
Yeah, it's almost flat.
It's like a real, like, yeah, almost like a camback. Um, but the Hondas are like that. The Malibu's like that. It's kind of like a. It looks like it wants to be an Audi A7, but it's not nearly as cool.
Yeah, not even a little bit. Also, those windows are hard to see out of too.
They are. You really sit down inside the car. Um,
It's almost like you have to rely on that backup camera, especially when there's any inclement weather, because the way like rainwater sits in those windows,
yeah,
you can't see. And it reminds me every time I drive one of when you used to have a car that had a back window sloped that much, in the late 80s through the
you didn't
90s.
have a wiper.
There'd be a wiper on it. Yeah. Like all the hatchbacks had wipers on them.
Yeah.
Like your Eagle Talon or my
Yep.
or my Eclipse or Conquest or Snarion or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I got to the bottom down at PCH, and all I could smell was brakes.
Good job, sir.
Yep.
I have found that driving the wrong car on those kind of roads, it can be fun if it's the right wrong car. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, this road was so tight that anything with any type of sporting conventions that had any amount of power to it, like over 200 horsepower, would probably be too fast.
Right.
So by having a not so sporty car and being not that familiar with the road and not having a lot of power, I didn't drive off the side of a cliff.
So I remember my first time driving in any California canyons. I was in a rental Mitsubishi Galant. Like I think that's a 8th gen or 9th gen, whatever they were. Yeah,
Or
2000
ninth or whatever. It's the last ones.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was probably 2011 or 2012. And it was a terrible, terrible, terrible car. And it was not fun. But then I remember doing similar roads when I was driving a rented Prius through like the tail of the dragon.
Yeah.
I actually had fun because that car has, well, I wouldn't call it a sports car by any means. It has like much better road manners than a big full size sedan.
And also, all the batteries at the bottom of the car lower the center of gravity.
Yeah, possibly. Again, I wouldn't buy one and say it's a sports car, but I definitely enjoyed driving it on twisty roads, and it shouldn't have been driven like that on twisty roads. It sounds like you had a similar experience in the Malibu. It wasn't ideal, but you made do with what you had and enjoyed yourself anyway.
Yeah. And the CarPlay was a little funky. I don't know why it like made you download some My Chevy app. You're like, why? Like, it's so dumb. Like,
yeah, it shouldn't have that. It should just be work.
It should just work. Like Stephanie's Subaru will just connect to CarPlay as long as you have the Siri enabled. And like, but the nice thing is once I got it to work, the thing about CarPlay, and I'm sure Android Auto same way, whatever car you put it in, it's the same interface. So it's like,
yeah, I'm sure Android Auto is the same way, but I've never had a new enough car to use it.
Yeah,
so.
I like that. And if I was thinking about it, if I had an old car that could easily accept a double din screen without looking weird, I would use it just for that.
A lot of the older cars look okay with double din screens
80s,
because
90s cars.
When they're off, when they're off, they're just black. Right. So it doesn't it looks better than a lot of aftermarket radios do that have, multiple colors and knobs and chrome and whatever.
Yeah. I suppose if I had an older car, I'd want to swing out one, or I mean, at minimum Bluetooth. But it was kind of nice.
Yeah, definitely not a swing out one.
Yeah, but if it's hidden when the car is parked.
Yeah, they always just seem so cheesy and awful when they pull out, though.
Maybe the new ones are better. I don't know. But anyway, that was just a little note about the rental car, and then drive down PCH, pretty interesting. Such a wide road, and like
It's so interesting that it goes from at some points it's windy mountain road, then you go over some really beautiful like bridges with great vistas and
right,
views, and then for part of it you're just on like an interstate highway. It feels like.
exactly. And then it's like um, in the part that I was on, like you've got these multi-million-dollar homes right on the beach, and then there'd be a section of highway that just looks over the beach with just decrepit campers parked there. Like
Yeah, well,
not like a weekend like overlanding truck or something that's just parked there for a day or so. Like definitely these RVs haven't moved in a while.
right. They're permanent homes.
So
I don't know what the limit is for staying on the side of the road there, but I know like in here in Arizona you can camp on any public land for up to 15 days, I think it is.
yeah, like I noticed
So,
the signs were like some of them had signs like no parking 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. probably to eliminate that.
mhm.
But so that was pretty cool. Um,
Oh, that's a cool rich man poor man
yeah,
thing. Oh, I live on the beach on the
right.
PCH. Oh, you're either really rich or
Yep.
homeless.
And then I went out to Amoeba Music. If you're a music fan of old school like record stores, music stores, definitely go there.
Yeah, music, movies, whatever. It's like the mecca
Yeah.
of pop culture in the area there, I think.
It just reminds me so much of going to the way Newbury Comics used to be, the way Tower Records used to be, like just those
Yep.
big old school record
Yeah, it's
stores.
definitely a place that's lost in time. It hasn't changed much
Yep.
since the 90s.
And
And that's actually probably hasn't changed much since the 80s.
unfortunately, they did move the building um, from that really cool looking building, like the Art Deco type building. It's in a different building now,
Yep.
but it did have
Oh, really? When did it move?
I feel like 2016, 17, or 18.
Huh.
It's very recent.
Yeah, I haven't been there since it moved. I did not know that.
Somebody offered them probably a lot of money for the property.
Yeah, more than
Um,
likely.
but it was cool because they did at least have a parking garage underneath, so it was easy to find parking.
Yeah, that makes it easier. But the picture you showed me, because you took a picture from
Right.
the inside, and honestly, it looked just like the old building inside. It was 2 floors and open in
Yeah.
the middle, right? Yeah. Hmm.
No, it was super super cool. So yeah, and then I just kind of drove around LA for a little bit, made my way back. Somehow managed to miss like a lot of traffic on a Friday, even though it rained. Um, and then uh, Radwood was Saturday, Radwood, LA. So I got up at
Excellent.
5 in the morning because I had
It's kind of funny that last year you didn't make it to Radwood, LA,
yeah
and I did, and this year I didn't make it to Radwood, LA, and you did, even though I live
yeah.
around the corner,
What was funny?
like a 6 hour drive.
So I'll tell after I. So I had to get up at 5 in the morning, um, and I drove an hour and yeah. So the GPS said an hour and a half. I made it an hour and 15. Um,
Making that
yep.
Malibu
There
work.
wasn't a lot of traffic. There was more traffic than you would expect around here at that time of day, but not that much traffic. And it was raining. So we got out there. It was at Oak Canyon, which is kind of like just outside up in the hills over LA, and kind of out there. But I got there super early. I met up with the Radwood guys. I helped them set up. Helped Bradley and Amanda set up the merch booth, and helped with a couple other things. And I hung out because I wanted to get there early because for spectators the show started at 11, but if I showed up at 11, I had to leave at noontime to get back up to Malibu for a four
Right.
o'clock wedding.
Right. Plus the cars start rolling up usually between 8
I
and
saw
9.
basically
So
everything. But it was funny that you say that you were there last year, but I wasn't, and vice versa, because I was there. I didn't really mention a lot of people I was going, and a couple people were like, "Wait, what? Like, what are you doing here?" or, and the next question was like, "Where's Brad?" And I was like, "Well, unfortunately, couldn't make it, but
we're not
here
one
I am."
entity.
So I know I surprised Chris Cavalieri. I was like, Chris, he turned. He's like, oh. So,
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't tell a lot of people I wasn't going either. So I'm sure most people probably expected me being a West Coaster now. So
and I did get to meet Moises in person finally.
excellent. Brought hit with his Mitsubishi Sigma
Yes,
Galant.
1990 Sigma on Instagram.
Yep, that car is really really cool.
Its car's super cool. He won Raddest accessories.
Right, because he brought all his Mitsubishi accessories.
Hit all the accessories for that thing. And he was like wearing a Mitsubishi. It's like a Walkman Mitsubishi belt.
It's a like
Yeah.
a boombox belt made by Mitsubishi. Yeah, he wore that last year too.
So that was cool. I met Tony Bird again with his DSM. There was an Expo. Was it Expo? Colt Wagon Expo? 5-door one?
There was that we called Mitsubishi Expo. Yes,
Yep. With an all drive swap, 4G63.
a 4060 swap. They came all-wheel drive.
Yep. And it was, I didn't catch the guy's name. He was friends with Tony Bird. And I guess the guy brought that Expo, and he also owns a Raw Welt.
Oh, that's a weird combination.
Yeah, right. And then Acura was there with their is that an MDX? What was the thing they built?
SRX
SRX.
with an MDX driveline.
Right. So cool.
Yeah, that was very unexpected and kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
There wasn't any kind of hype about that at all. It just all of a sudden, maybe 4 days before Radwood, they were like, "Hey, we built this thing for Radwood."
Yeah. And you know what's wild about it? That's like a SEMA build for Radwood.
Right. Yeah, further legitimizing the event.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Acura came out strong last year too because they had the low mile Integra Type R and the no mile NSX and the concept car for the CL and the real time racing Integra. So they've been behind the show for a while. So
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then as far as like royalty cars, there was a lot of really cool quote unquote regular cars. A lot more American stuff. Uh,
yeah, I noticed there was a good amount of American stuff,
it was
even
a
more
good
than
mix.
like the Detroit show. It looked like.
Yep. A couple of like super mint Mark 1 and Mark 2 Golfs and GTIs.
Yeah, I've had a strong hankering for a Mark II lately.
There was
Ever since Liz got their street car, and I keep seeing clean ones like you took pictures of at Radwood.
a gorgeous Mark 1 Rabbit, absolutely mint. And there's some pictures of it online. I mean, red interior. I mean, it was totally mint. And then like a totally mint Audi 4000 Quattro that I don't even know the last time I saw one of those. Oh, and speaking of mint,
Yeah, it was an early one with small bumpers
yeah,
too,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
And then speaking of mint, there was, I think it was an 81 or 82 Challenger,
Oh, the black one.
black one.
Yeah, it's a really nice car.
I'm forgetting the gentleman's name. Him and his wife or girlfriend. They were super nice. I was talking to him, but they knew you, obviously.
Well, yeah, because they met me at JCCS where I took the Sapporo there.
Yep. They were looking.
They actually that car was fresh out of restoration at JCCS.
They told me the story that he finished at like 3 in the morning or something, or 5 in the morning, putting the car together. I guess that's
his Instagram name is 710 Datsun.
Okay.
So obviously the Datsun guy happens to have that car too.
Yep.
But you can follow him and see the car there.
Yep. Yeah, he was looking for you too. It's funny. Super, super, super nice car. Like really a nice car.
It makes my Sapporo look like it belongs in the junkyard where it came from.
Yeah. Not like I don't even say it to be like mean. Like kind of yeah.
No, I 100% agree.
And it
makes my car look like garbage.
And it's cool that he's just leaving it like that, like just gonna preserve it.
Yeah, he's not building a hot rod or anything. He just restored it as factory stock.
And then like probably one of the craziest cars. There's a Koenig 962, which it was a Porsche 962 modified by Koenig to be a road car, which is kind of bananas.
That is real bananas. I think Matt Farah drove that in, right?
Yep. It's not his car. It's a friend of DWA's, I guess, and they just had Matt Farah drive it. is what I was told. And then, of course, the car that won Radisson Show was the Torgerson EXP. And you're like,
The Ford Escort EXP.
nope, the Torgerson EXP. The thing that looks like a Corvette, Fiero, Lotus, Lamborghini.
Yeah, it's got a good combination of every good 80s, 90s like sports car. I think the two biggest influences I see in that car are Corvette, obviously, and NSX.
Yes, but I think it existed before the NSX existed.
I'm not sure. I think it's for like similar era, isn't it?
No, it's like from the 80s.
Well, it's a really cool car.
Yeah, so it's the story with that car is that it is a home built, one of a kind car. Uh, the guy kind of and a couple of friends. There's a video on YouTube. It's under Carcheology, and it's Randy. I forget his last name. He's just a typical. He's a car enthusiast just like us. He likes to buy weird, random things and rescue them. And
Actually, he won Radisson Show last year
yeah,
too.
with that mini truck
Yeah, super period correct, like late 80s build mini
that
truck.
he like rescued out of somebody's garage again that hadn't been driven in a while. So this car, there's a video. He's got a video on YouTube basically about it. Come to find out, so this guy and his friends built it. It popped up in Jalopnik a few years ago, so people might remember it there as this total mystery car because somebody spotted it in a retirement community. So unfortunately, I guess the original builder, he passed away. He was like in his 90s. So this thing was sitting in under this carport. It's like all tube frame with like GM parts.
Yeah, there were a lot of like C3 Corvette parts, aren't there?
Some it has like a Lotus dash. It's got a Lotus transaxle. It's a small block Chevy from the Corvette. Um, yeah, it's got very GM control arms, but it's almost like maybe because C2s would have had disc brakes. It's got drum brakes all around, which is kind of weird. Yeah,
All around.
yeah.
What? This thing looks like the pinnacle of technology in 1985.
Well, it's like a really nice concept car build. Like it just needs to move onto the stage and look cool.
That's amazing to me that it has
Yeah.
drum brakes. You know what that is? That's the of the time enthusiast that today would be like, oh, carburetors are all we need. We don't need fuel
Right.
injection. This is a guy who in 1985 was building this thing. He's like, oh, drum brakes are fine. We don't need these fancy new disc brakes.
Yeah. So I would
That's absolutely insane.
yeah, when you're done with this, go watch the video. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, that one Radisson Show. That's kind of like a crazy car to see in person. But so
It's insane. I'm looking at a picture of it right now. It has Corvette side markers for sure.
you can see where he used off the shelf things to make it easier, but
I know those taillights too.
they're either a Trans Am or a Fiero.
Neither.
They're definitely Pontiac.
You'll give me a minute. I'll remember what it is.
But anyway,
Cool.
so I'm going to go on too long about that. You want to do some Craig Don't Tell Me?
You might as well because it's cool. Actually, looking at that rear hatch.
Yeah.
Are you sure this is as old as you think it is? Because that looks like an Eagle Talon hatch.
No, it's a C4 Corvette window.
Oh, okay. It is one piece.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I see that.
Yep.
The picture I have is kind of pixelated. Zoomed in pretty far on it.
Nope.
I see that now. It's two little dots in the bottom where the latch is. Yep, that's definitely a C4 Corvette.
And either the front windshield is either Lotus. It's probably a Lotus. I don't think it's a Corvette.
No, it's way too flat to be a Corvette.
See, somebody said maybe it was a Countach, but I think it's a Lotus. I'm willing to bet this person bought a wrecked Lotus Esprit
and a wrecked Corvette.
And a wrecked Corvette.
Because it has Corvette headlights too.
Yeah. But I guess when he picked up this car, there was no headlights under those doors.
Oh, okay. It's wild. You know what? Actually, the main thing it reminds me of, I'd have to go on too long about it, is the Nissan Mid-4 concept.
Yeah.
That's what I see mostly in this car.
Or like the Wraith.
Nissan mid four.
Yeah,
That's what I see. As far as a car that existed, well, I guess the Wraith existed technically too. It was a Chrysler thing,
yeah.
but I don't know. It's cool. I dig it. I even dig like the wheels or
They're
hubcaps.
hubcaps. They're Nissan hubcaps.
Oh my god, they are Nissan hubcaps.
It's got like center line wheels, like deep dish center line wheels under those.
God, that's so 80s.
It's so crazy, right? It totally deserved to win,
I dig this. I dig this thing so much. I'm actually upset I didn't get to see it in person. There's a lot of work here.
right? And it's not like crappy work. Like they put a lot of time and effort. Like it was in person. You looked at it, you're like, this is really actually very pretty. Like that could have been a car. It could have been a production car. Like it was a very close to production concept. Like that's what it looks like. Like when you remember we were at the Crawford and they had the concept Dodge Viper.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. Because that car was like definitely hand built and doesn't have things you'd see on an actual production car, but it's pretty close, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So
It's wild. I wish I saw it in person.
so anyway, I got some Craig don't tell me's for you.
Yeah, listeners submitted Craig Don't Tell Me's.
Yeah, the same listener. So this week's Craig Don't Tell Me's are brought to you by Steve Booton. So I assume he gave us each 3 different ones.
Yes, he did. He said he did for sure.
Although it would be hilarious to troll us by giving us 3 of the same ones.
I don't think he would do that, but
All right. I'll go first because I got this one pulled up here.
all right, I'm listening. I'm listening.
And it might be a gimme, but I feel like I got to read this part. So 68 Camaro front end, 77 Chevy 305 V8, automatic trans, new windshield, minor rust or age of vehicle, original wood floor, straight body and frame, running and drivable, clean title.
Original wood floor?
Yeah, original wood floor.
Camaro front end, like a Camaro subframe?
Yeah,
And it has a wood floor.
it has a wood
Well,
floor.
it's a pickup truck. Like a bed, like a wood bed floor.
It's close.
What else had a wooden floor?
Well, I don't know. What else is a useful vehicle?
A van?
Yeah, you're close.
It's a Chevy van?
Judges? Yes. All right, we'll give it to you.
What is it?
It's a 58 Chevy Apache panel truck.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think I would have gotten
Yeah.
there. But so it's kind of a pickup truck and a van together at the time because that's pre-SUV status.
Yeah.
So it's more of a big wagon, I guess. Those are really cool, though.
It is really cool.
I definitely dig it.
It needs
The second you said Camaro front end, my brain immediately went to like 50s Chevy truck.
Yeah, but it needs an updated LS swap instead of a little 305.
Yeah, whatever. It's just a cruiser.
Yeah, it could be made really cool though. All right, you get yours ready?
I can live with a 305. I do. Mine are a little more difficult.
Oh boy.
Okay. I can't read any words out of this title, I don't think, other than rare. And British. I might have given you way too much already. Blank, 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 blank. The most desired ultra rare model. Nearly never found in the USA. It's a microcar at its best. This is the point that terminally cute meets usable. Yes, it is little, but you can also fit in the car and be comfortable. These are seen in many TV shows in Europe, just because they are so cool, reliable, and also very easy to drive. Just out of a private collection, serviced with fresh fuel and oil, new battery installed, the engine purrs nice and smooth. Great running 4-cylinder with floor shift. Fresh exhaust, whisper quiet. All capitals from this point forward, so I'm not going to yell it at you, but
Okay.
pretend I am. Look at the pictures to see the nice condition of this rare find. Nice glossy bright yellow paint. Never any accident damage. Low 56,000 miles as opposed to a high 56,000 miles. Nice interior and trunk area. Adjustable rear seats fold up and down to seat 4 or bring your items with much rear space. Adjustable front seats. Left front seat tilts forward to allow easy entry to the rear. Right-hand drive. Imported after 2000 from the UK. Steers easily with no issues. We'll just need a bit of TLC with the brakes.
Oh.
Cleaned and detailed. Runs and drives.
Is it a Mini? Oh, it's not a Mini.
It's not a Mini. All doors work like they should. Great quality microcar that will be very fair price. Hard to near impossible to find. Nope. These are used as good, solid delivery trucks in the UK.
Is it a Reliant Robin?
How did you get there that fast? That's exactly what.
That was actually my first. Honest truth. That was my first instinct, like 2 paragraphs ago. But I was like, no, that's too easy.
No, I didn't think it was going to be that easy. That's why I was like, this is $12,900, which seems expensive.
I think it was when you said that they're using a lot of shows in the UK.
Okay.
So I was like, well, it's either a Mini or a Reliant Robin for their comedy value.
Yeah, the description is microcar, rare, Reliant Robin, British Top Gear 3-wheeler. I was like, I can't say any of these things.
Yeah.
That's good. You got that one pretty quickly. I didn't know if you were going to or not.
All right. I got a good one here. I can tell you the title of it because it makes no sense.
Perfect. It means it's an American car, probably a Camaro.
It's called the Frankie.
Oh, good. And I'm assuming it's not a Franklin.
No. There's honestly too much to list on here, but I will tell you everything, and I mean everything was replaced with brand new.
Brand new parts, I assume.
Yep. There's only 5,400 miles on it. It needs to go to a new home. Runs perfect, rides awesome on new Cooper Cobras.
Oh, sweet.
It's an automatic with all LED lighting, stainless steel exhaust. Here you go. 604 crate engine with Edelbrock aluminum heads, intake, brand new Holley carb.
604?
Yeah.
That isn't even a number I'm aware of.
Just a great machine that I've had in front of cruising around. And now it's time to move on.
A 604.
Yeah.
I don't even know what a 604. It's called Frankie?
Yeah.
The Frankie.
Frankie. It just says Frankie in the ad.
Oh. Like we call Frankie?
Yeah. No, just Frankie.
Oh, the car's called Frankie.
Yeah.
Huh. Is it from the 60s, this car?
Later.
Later than the 60s.
Well, half of it's from the 60s.
Oh. Okay. Is it like chassis swapped?
No. Parts have been grafted on.
Oh, good. So, is it an El Camino with 57 Chevy parts on it?
No, but you're in the right family.
Okay. I was trying to think of something we call a Frankie. I'm picturing some like aging car enthusiast with an El Camino and putting 57 Chevy parts on it and calling it like the Frankie Avalon or something.
I mean, it might as well be, but
oof. Is it in any way a car-based pickup truck?
It's a pickup truck based car.
That's not. Oh! Is it one of those Caprices that has the weird cutaway bed in the back?
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
Chevy, though. I'll give you a Chevy.
But you know what I'm talking about? They're a Caprice nose with a.
Yeah.
They look like the Dodge Sniper concept.
It's not that.
It's not that terrible thing. Is it a vehicle that's more than one of, or is this definitely a one-off?
This is a one-off.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if I'm going to get it or not. Because the only other vehicles that are later than 60s that are Chevys that could take a giant crate engine would be like a Monte Carlo, but then it would be an El Camino. Oof. I'm just going to go. It's a third-gen Camaro turned into a pickup truck.
No.
All right. I'm going to have to go up on this
I'll
one.
give it to you.
Yeah.
It's a 75 Chevy pickup truck
Okay.
with 59 Cadillac rear tail fins.
Man, I was real close to that El Camino 57 Chevy.
Yeah.
That's hard. But then you said it was a car-based pickup truck.
It's a pickup truck-based car.
Oh, that's what you said. Damn.
It's got a chopped roof, like a Pro Street hood scoop, underglow.
Of course, it has underglow, just to get that true 50s nostalgia.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that sounds pretty awful. Is it pretty awful? Is it as awful as it sounds?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Does it look well built?
Yeah. I mean, the paint looks good. It's it's not flat black. It's got shiny paint. It's pretty wild. It's $28,000 for it.
That's a strong number.
I mean, that engine's probably 10 grand.
I don't even know.
A 604 crate engine that's like, it might as well be like a boat engine, like a Mercruiser or something.
Let's see. Chevrolet Performance CT400 sealed 604 crate engine. $66.99.
Okay.
$7 grand. So it's actually, it does not mean it's, I guess it's not a 604 cubic inches. It's a 350.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So a 604 crate engine is a 400 horse, 400 foot pound, 350 crate motor. Just like the model number is 604, I guess.
Oh, he's just throwing 604 in there to make me think it's 604 cc's.
Yeah. They're based on the popular fast burn 385 street engine. Oh, you know what? It's because they're made for a circle track car.
Ah.
So they're made to a spec. So they come sealed. So it's a race car engine for the street. Put in the street car. Anyway.
All right.
I don't even got past that. That's terrible. All right. My car is a 1981. I'll even give you the trim package because I don't think it's going to help you.
Okay.
It's LJ is the trim package.
Ooh.
So not LE, LJ.
Yeah. You know what LJ is? Can't afford it.
I am confident that you don't know what that trim package is. So there are people out there who specialize in these cars that probably do. But this has 48,000 original miles.
It's the Lincoln Lyndon Johnson edition.
It is not that. It is 48,000 miles and it is available for $3,900. 1981 right. blank LJ. Just 48,000 miles. Rare bucket seats. 231 engine. Power seats. Windows and locks. Recent brake job and tune-up, including new belts. Runs and drives great. Paint faded as expected. Solid floor pans and trunk very solid. Light surface rust on driver's quarter panel. Needs a headliner. Original wire wheels and rims included. I'm assuming that means steel wheels and hubcaps. But so yes, this is a 1981 blank LJ.
Okay.
With a 231 cubic inch engine.
With a 231, that sounds like a AMC engine.
It's not an AMC engine, actually. This is a very popular engine that came in millions and millions and millions of cars in the 80s and 70s. There were two versions of it, one with a distributor in the front and one with a distributor in the back.
Oh. So this is a Mustang 2?
You are not even in the right manufacturer.
Oh, really? It's not a Ford, huh? All right. So is it it's a Dodge?
You're still not in the right manufacturer.
Really?
I am Well, if it was a Plymouth, I probably would have given you the right manufacturer with Dodge.
Oh, okay.
This is it's a car that I am very familiar with the underpinnings of.
281.
231.
231.
Yep.
Oh, so it's a G body.
You're on the right track now. Yep.
All right. So it's a.
If you don't get it in the first three guesses out of the 5G bodies, then you don't win.
Yeah. Is it like an Oldsmobile?
It's not an Oldsmobile.
All right. So it's a Buick.
It's not a Buick.
Oh my God.
You have one guess left. There's only 5G bodies, so
The Monte
you
Carlo?
ruled out Monte Carlo. Nope, not a Monte Carlo. So it's not a Cutlass, not a Regal, not a Monte Carlo.
Was there a Pontiac version?
It's not an El Camino. It is the Pontiac version. Do you know what it is?
What was the Pontiac? Shit. What was the Pontiac version of a G body? Was it a Grand Prix?
It is a Grand Prix, yes.
Oh.
You failed miserably because you guessed all of the G bodies until you had that one left.
Weird.
Yeah, it's an 81 Grand Prix LJ.
Oh, this is still when Pontiac had their own displacements.
No, the 231 was the same engine that came in it was the same one in my Cutlass.
Oh,
it's the
V6.
V6. There was a Chevy version and a Buick version, and one I forget which one is which, but one has a distributor in the front and one in the back, and so you know which one's which.
Weird.
But, yeah,
that's so weird.
But it's a cool looking car, actually. It's two-tone black and silver. It's really neat.
Yeah, I think Pontiac kind of had cool grills for those. I mean,
they were. No, I wouldn't call it cool.
No, not even like retro kinda, cool. Ironically cool.
I mean, the whole car is kind of ironically cool.
Yeah.
I would totally dig driving this car, and I understand why Steve sent it to me, being a G-body person that I am.
Mm-hmm.
So, it does have the nice crushed floor interior like mine had, and it has the bucket seats and console shift and a V6 like my car had, and it has the round gauges like my car had. So, it's basically the Oldsmobile version. It's the Pontiac version of my old Oldsmobile. I dig it, and I would totally drive it. Very slowly, of course.
Cool.
All right, you got one more?
I do. I got one more.
I don't have any more because unfortunately the last one he sent me expired.
All right. Extremely rare. Vehicles imported from Europe, Spain, into Virginia in 2018.
Toyota Blizzard.
Car is extremely clean, very good condition, very well maintained, not been restored. 168,000 kilometers. If I give you any more, I think I'll give it away, but we'll see how far you get.
There's got to be more than that because that could be any car sold in Europe.
Okay. 1.9, 16 valve.
It's a Volkswagen Polo.
Nope.
1.9 and 16 valve?
Mm-hmm.
It's a Peugeot 205.
Oh my gosh, you're so close.
It's a Peugeot 305.
All right.
It's a Peugeot 206.
Nope. I'll just give it to you. Peugeot 405.
405.
MI16.
I should have guessed one more number.
It's the
205 and 305.
The car that's in the end of Ronin.
Yeah, the 405 is one that's also the same car the Saab is based on, isn't it?
I don't know. Is it?
I'm trying to remember. I might have just spoken on a turn. I know that the Lancia, I want to say Thanos, but that's the guy from the Marvel Comics.
Yeah. This car, $7,500 with basically 105,000 miles on it, a 90. It looks super clean. Like, I kind of want this. Like, I've been wanting a French car for a while. Like, this thing's really
Have
cool.
you really?
Yeah. I just want
a Peugeot 405
French car. Yeah. It's a 4-door. It's really good looking. The hatchbacks are really cool, but the sedan's really handsome.
Oh yeah, these are really cool.
So anyway,
I don't know if it's sold as anything else.
Well, I think that about does it.
Not related. It's not related to the Saab. Only the Lancia is.
No.
Lancia and the Alpha. That's what it is. The Alpha is related to the Saab.
Okay.
This car's not. Okay.
Speaking of which, you do have a Saab that's for sale. If anybody's interested in
I do.
In New England in a winter vehicle or just a daily
Even
driver.
even has snow tires already on it.
Yep. Needs some brakes refreshed, but
Yeah, it has a sticking caliper. That's the only problem.
yeah, and just go through the rest of the braking system. It'll be all right. And by rest of the braking system, I mean like pads, rotors, probably flush the fluid.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
It doesn't need anything else. I'll put a battery in it when somebody goes to buy it. Obviously.
yeah. So if somebody's looking for that, contact Brad. Anything else though?
I do want to plug our buddy Brian's project, the Gearhead project.
Yep.
The forums are up. I understand that a lot of people probably will not want to consider joining a forum that has a paywall in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
But we're trying to build the forum back up. And the reason for the paywall is it costs money to run a forum.
Right.
And the only way to keep it ad free is to have its members pay to use it.
Right.
We're trying to build a new community there. I gladly paid the money. I'm sure you paid the money as well because I know you're on there. And I think that it is worth our while to build a community of like-minded people that, A, if they're paying for it, want to be there, so they're going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So Google search the Gearhead Project. We'll probably talk a little bit more about that in the future, but for now, we'll just kind of plug it real quick.
The forum software they're using is really, really good.
It takes the best of the old forums that we know with the usability of modern social media.
Exactly.
So it's a good combination of stuff. I enjoy it. I haven't posted there much just because life has been in the way and I don't really have a desktop computer to just go sit behind when I'm not at work and I can't do it at work. So
Yeah.
I do need to make a point to sit down there and play on it a little bit. But it is exciting, and I think that it has potential to be something larger. And get on early and be an early adopter.
The other crazy thing about forums was they were super popular at a time in my life personally when I had a job that required me to sit in front of a computer and wait for phone calls. So I had nothing else to do but be on forums. So I was on there all the time. But then I got
same with me.
Yeah. Then I got real jobs with more responsibility and I didn't have time to do that anymore. So then it seemed like everybody else the same thing happened maybe and they all fell off. But we're trying to fix that. So
yeah, it just requires people to want to do it, and I think people that are paying to do it will want to do it. So
right. All right, cool. So as always, you can follow us on Facebook, the evil Facebook, Auto Off Topic Podcast. We're
in the Facebook that we're trying to defeat with our little forum.
We're more fun on Instagram. You should follow Auto Off Topic Podcast on Instagram. We have hit the 1,000 follower mark. Not that that really means much of anything, but it took a while and we got there.
It means 1,000 people have clicked follow.
That's true. And
now the cash starts rolling in.
Yeah, pay us. And I've been putting up some Radwood photos and got some other photos of stuff to go up there. You can follow me, Race and Anger, on Instagram. I've got some stuff from my cars, stuff from Radwood. Oh, I sent out a bunch of. I took 5 rolls of film at Radwood. Now, granted, I had 3 rolls of this Mitsubishi film I bought that only had 12 exposures each, so I kind of burned through that pretty fast. See, that's kind of a bummer because it's 12 exposures, but it costs the same amount of money to have it developed.
Why is that?
Because it's cost per roll. He just charges a lab just charges you by the roll. They don't charge you by the exposure amount.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. You're using the chemicals for a roll of film.
Yeah. So yeah, like I've got 36 exposure rolls that cost the same amount as these 12. So not very efficient, but whatever. And I've been sending them up to a place in Maine called Northeast Photographic, and he's actually commented on a couple of our posts, or at least my posts. He knew what the Eagle Talon was, and was into them at the time. So that's kind of cool.
That's cool.
So yeah, me on Instagram, Race and Anger. Brad, where can they find you?
Instagram at TSISS350.
All right, cool. So keep cars analog and aim for the roses.